Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Growth Room Podcast, where we have honest conversations about growth, career, personal development, and becoming a better version of ourselves. Today's episode is part of our special series, What If I Have 5 Minutes? A series built on one powerful question. If you had just 5 minutes to share a message that could change someone's life or even the world, what would you say? And today's guest is Sharon Polsky, a nationally recognized nutritionist, women's wellness expert, and author of Weight Loss Decoded. Wow. She's been featured on television stations across the United States for her practical, evidence-based approach to nutrition, menopause, healthy aging, and the growing conversations around GLP-1 weight loss medication. So, Sharon, welcome to Growth Room Podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to talk to your audience.
Same here. I'm also excited to have this conversation with you. So now, let's dive into the big question. So Sharon, if you have just 5 minutes to share a message that could inspire someone or can change somebody's life, what would you say?
So it's actually two parts. The first one is you're never too old to change your health. And I think what happens with people is they say, I'm too busy, I'm too old, which is right to your point. If you only had 5 minutes, what would you do? So the first one is you're never too old. You can start and change your life one baby step at a time, one 5-minute increment at a time. So all you have to do is find 5 minutes in your day and you can improve your health.
Wow. That's really so powerful. Like there's the way you just coined everything to match the 5 minute scenario. Wow. That's so brilliant of you. So now, can you tell me what inspired the message and everything?
Yeah, so my mom was very overweight her entire life. I, from a very young age, saw my mom try every single diet ever created and nothing worked for her. And then I found out in my 30s and 40s that I had a genetic issue that made weight management very difficult for me. And it was probably passed down from my mother and my grandmother and my great grandmother. And so I realized that my mom's weight problems had nothing to do with the fact she was lazy. She was not lazy. Had nothing to do with the fact that she ate too much. My mother didn't eat too much. It had to do with the fact that her body is just different and it doesn't know what to do with those things. And so my entire life, I started seeking out ways to really help people that fall through the cracks, the people that are not helped by doctors, that are not helped by gyms, that are not helped by nutritionists. And then I stumbled onto those GLP-1 weight loss medications, Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, Zepbound, and they are changing the narrative for people that have struggled with their weight their entire life, and now they are able to be successful.
Wow. That's nice. So basically, you were kind of a problem solver.
Oh, I'm definitely, but I love that your thing is this 5 minute, how do you solve a problem in 5 minutes? Because that's my love language. It's like, it is literally just 5 minutes at a time and you can really improve your health. So sleep 5 minutes more, walk 5 minutes more, sit down, eat a meal and drink water for 5 minutes every day. And you will see that your health gets improved really quickly.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I kind of love the fact that you care so much about people's health, and that's so thoughtful of you. Like, that's so thoughtful of you. So now, basically, I'm going to dive a bit into your career journey. So, yeah, here we go. So now, the question I have for you is, well, we live in a world where health advice is everywhere. Of course, everybody will talk about, a lot of persons talk about health. So why do you think so many people struggle to know what's the fact and what's fiction?
Yeah, so I think what's happening today is everybody is seeking out short form content. So they're seeking out 6-second, 8-second, 10-second health and wellness videos on TikTok and Instagram. And you cannot improve your health in 6 seconds or 8 seconds. So these TikTok messages that you think are so powerful, they're not powerful. They are coming from people that are well spoken. They're very articulate. They sound like experts, so you believe them. But there is nothing I can do to change your health in 8 or 6 or 10 seconds. And that is why podcasts like yours and mine, I have a podcast called Weight Loss Decoded as well. Writing a book like I did, Weight Loss Decoded, Unlocking the Truth about GLP weight loss medications, and long form content like YouTube and TED Talks are very, very important. So even though the message that we're giving are these 5 minutes in a day message, we are still presenting it in long form content, meaning a podcast or a book or a YouTube video. So that is what people need to start searching for. And we got to start reading again. We've got to, like, we spent the last 10 years, nobody's reading and they're like going to TikTok. And let me tell you, TikTok is giving you everybody just wants to be at the head of TikTok. All they care about is the algorithm. They don't care about your health. People like you, people like we don't care about the algorithm. We just really want to help people. And this is the best platform for us to do it.
Yeah. And I feel like people's attention span is so short. So they just want something so quick and then they scroll. But I think when it comes to YouTube, you kind of settle down and learn. And yeah,
you're set to learn. I agree. When you get onto YouTube, you're seeking out YouTube because you want to learn. You want to sit down and learn. When you sit down with a podcast, you want to sit and learn. When you open up a book, you want to sit and learn. TikTok, Instagram, that's not the way to learn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, TikTok, they just give you a quick tip. You're actually correct. They don't care about you, they care about the algorithm. Actually, that's so true. I'm beginning to connect the dots.
Yeah, like I spent a lot of time just seeking out information on TikTok to see what were valuable because I knew so many people were on TikTok and I was like, okay, what are the valuable resources on TikTok? There weren't any. Like Gabrielle Lyon is telling everybody, lift weights, you won't get bulky. And she's bulky. Like she is built like a man. And she's probably the most popular person on the internet today. And my clients don't want to look like that. They want to still look small and they still want to be feminine. And so we need to figure out a way to get the message across to people about health and wellness and fitness and nutrition and GLP-1s in a way that's digestible, like they can understand it. It's not too sciencey, but it's still not so short that we're dumbing it down too much and they're not learning anything.
Yeah, that's so true. Thank you so much for sharing that. You just opened my mind and my eyes to see a lot of things. So now, back to GLP-1 medications. Okay, GLP-1 medications have become...
I think people either love them or hate them. And the reason is because everybody is on the internet today and they want to be relevant. So you've got this whole group of people that are saying, no, they're bad. No, they're bad. They're new medications. They're not new. We've been using them in functional medicine for blood sugar stabilization for the last 15 years. They're not new. But you've got all these people that want to be relevant, like Jillian Michaels or Bill Maher, and they want to be relevant. So they're saying, oh, these side effects are terrible. People's stomachs become paralyzed. They're causing cancer. None of that is true. And the research, if I go back to research, none of that is true. And then you have everybody on the other end that's saying, oh, they're the greatest thing ever. They're perfect for everybody, which is not true either. They're not a magic wand and you just take it and you feel better and you look better and you lose all this weight. The truth lies in the middle. So it's not this scary thing and it's not this perfect thing. It lies in the middle. So with lifestyle changes, learning to sleep, learning to eat, learning to get moving, drinking water, managing your stress, and then combining a GLP-1 in very low doses, we are seeing some of the most amazing changes in our populations than we've ever seen before. And these are people that have been obese since they were 13, 14, 15 years old. They have underlying health conditions. They might have PCOS. They might be perimenopausal or menopausal. And so it really has changed so many people's lives for the positive. And then we have this group of people that we call non-responders that they don't work on at all. And that's okay too. That medication just wasn't appropriate for them. So the reason why I work with this population is so I can really try to help people navigate what works, what doesn't work, what's right for them, what's not right for them.
Yeah.
I am a problem solver.
Yeah. Now you have a book called Weight Loss Decoded. The name is very catchy though. So what inspired you to write it? What did you hope readers could finally understand?
Yeah, so I wrote the book. I actually didn't want to write a book. I was waiting for somebody else to write this book and nobody was writing it. There weren't any, nobody was writing anything like this. And I was like, okay, I need to do a truth about side effects, truth about the medication, truth about how to budget for the medication, because it's not covered by insurance for most people. The truth about accessibility of the medication for underserved communities, the truth about how to get it, the truth about how to find a doctor that's going to manage it correctly. So that's why I wrote the book, was because I felt like that was important. Now, I'm very aware that people are very accustomed to short form content and they really want things to be short and easy and TikTok-ish. So every chapter is only 10 pages. So I make it very precise and very to the point, and I give them the information they need, and then I move on. I don't over talk about everything.
Yeah. Such a smart move. And I think if I'm going to take related to my podcast, I would say, yeah, because at the point when I was setting the timer for the podcast, I wanted to do like 1 hour, 2 hour. I was like, people barely listen to things. Why don't I do it 30 minutes? That way they could stay.
Well, I have some really great episodes that are like an hour long, and I have to make them a part 1 and a part 2 because I know they're only going to listen to 30 minutes, or I have to like edit them down to nothing. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, the best part of the podcast was in the last 3/4 of it, because we both get warmed up and we start talking and it becomes more organic and comfortable. So you're right. Like, we all set out wanting to do these great things for people, and then we realize we got to do it in a way that people will do it.
Because when they know that it's 1 hour, 2 hours, they'll be like, nah, I'm not going to listen to this.
Yeah, I agree.
Sure. So, okay. So where can people find your book, Weight Loss Decoded?
So my book, Weight Loss Decoded, Unlocking the Truth About GLP Weight Loss Medications, is available on Amazon, also on Audible and Kindle and Spotify. For those of us that are all podcast listeners on Spotify, it is also on there as well. So I do make it really easy for you to get your hands on it. And then my podcast is called Weight Loss Decoded. It's also available on Spotify. And every chapter of this book was inspired by my 18 episode podcast, so it's very fascinating because you'll see when you look at my podcast, these are not podcasters that I am interviewing. I am interviewing the experts in the industry. And so these are doctors. So one of them was an OBGYN, and she literally delivered a baby, ran into her office to film a podcast episode with me. And it's like this little tiny face at the bottom of the video. And then she ran back to, like, they interrupted her. We were almost done. We were in the last 10 seconds of it. And they were like, the next baby is coming. And then she went running out to film the next episode. So I always laugh at, when people watch my podcast, it's not slick. It's not like a bunch of podcasters talking. This is real conversations with real doctors and real experts. And you can tell because real doctors and real experts that are working out in the world don't have a podcast set up to have this flashy conversation.
Yeah. I love the fact that you're kind of very smart. You know how to present your words so well. I like that about you.
Thank you.
I'm enjoying the conversation.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So now, Harry, many women notice significant changes in their bodies after 40, especially during menopause. So what is happening behind the scenes and how can they adapt instead of feeling defeated? Okay, many people actually feel that way.
Yeah, so I think perimenopause, before we hit menopause, that happens to some women in their 30s. So I think we need to be, first of all, just be aware if we're feeling significant changes in our late 30s and early 40s, it's probably coming and we need to do that blood work and we need to be aware of it. And we probably should understand what's happening. But all that's happening is our bodies are changing from making babies to no longer making babies. And so we don't need the hormones to make babies anymore. The problem is those hormones that make babies also keep us healthy. So they keep us from getting inflammation in our joints. They help us from gaining weight. They help us keep our skin quality and not get wrinkles. They help with our sleep quality because to make babies, we need better sleep. And so all these things start to change. Now, the first problem we all have is that our mothers all went through the change. And they called it the change, but never told us what was happening. So my generation, I'm 53 years old. My generation is the first generation that is sharing what that means. Now, if you think back to tribes, African tribes, Native American tribes, women shared. They shared what their bodies were going through. So younger generations got to learn. But then Western religious cultures came in. And so if you look at especially white culture, which is no culture, our mothers don't share anything. They don't tell us anything. And so I feel like my generation is the first generation that's really opening up and talking about menopause. So we're talking about fatigue. We're exhausted all the time because we don't have the hormones anymore. We aren't sleeping well at night because we have those hot flashes. We have frozen shoulder is one of the biggest side effects of menopause, and nobody talks about it. Everybody goes to an orthopedic surgeon where you really need to go to a hormone replacement therapy doctor. And then the really big one is weight gain. And weight gain comes from your metabolism slowing down, but also we start to lose muscle mass. And so I always say to ladies, if you've already gained the weight, I think it's too late. I want you to come to me as you're starting to gain the weight, and I can help you stop that. And we're going to do it through 3 methods. 1, we're going to make sure that your blood work shows balanced hormones. 2, we can manage that through hormone replacement therapy or just changes in your diet and exercise and things like that. And supplements. So you don't have to take hormone replacement therapy if you don't want to. The second one is we got to prevent weight gain. So if you start to gain weight, we got to stop that. I don't care if you lose weight, but I want you to stop from gaining weight. And then we can start working on other things like weight loss before you ever gain the weight. And I call this weight management or weight maintenance. And I can use GLP-1s to do that. I work with a lot of doctors that will prescribe them. And then the last one is your lifestyle of your 30s. You don't have the energy in your 50s. So we really do need to find ways to mitigate your stress, like whether it's journaling, whether it's taking a bath. I've gotten really into what's called grounding, where you walk outside in the grass in bare feet and it calms your nervous system. And then the other one I really love is gardening, but you can't garden with gloves. You put your hands inside of dirt. And this all goes back to Mother Nature, and that the earth actually provides you with this energy and this calm. And then you're doing that outside. So you're getting the vitamin D from the sun. So those are my 2 favorite ways, but there's a lot of different ways for you to mitigate stress. And so I really want people to know, first of all, you're not doomed. The fact that your mothers never talked about it and they suffered silently through it, you do not need to suffer through menopause. I will help you. I'm very easy to get a hold of. I'm Sharon Polsky on Instagram. It's just my name. So first and foremost, you don't have to suffer through this. Secondly, there's a lot of resources available for you, and we will get you through this.
Wow. And that's so thoughtful. And thank you so much for enlightening us about menopause. That's awesome. Thank you so much. So now that brings me to ask, social media has made wellness information more accessible than ever. You can find information about health everywhere. But then the thing is, it has also created a lot of confusion. So how can someone evaluate whether health advice is actually backed by science? How can we verify that?
Yeah, like I said earlier, I think one of the biggest issues with social media is people that are articulate or are pretty. They are attractive and articulate. People automatically believe them. And first and foremost, the most unattractive people are usually the smartest people I know. So I always am but that's social media. Again, the algorithm doesn't pick those people up. So I think that you have to be curious. And I say this to everybody. You can't just take information in and go, that's fact, that's fiction, because that person says it's fact or fiction. You've got to be curious. And the more you ask questions, people can't answer your questions. You know that they don't have the answers. So that's where you start. You start asking a lot of questions. This also includes your own doctors. If you go to your doctor and you ask that doctor a bunch of questions and they have to sit down at a computer and ask the computer those questions, that is not the right doctor for you. A doctor should be able to sit across a desk from you or sit in a chair next to you and talk to you and explain to you what's going on with your life and your health and things like that without having to enter it into a computer. So that's going to be very important. That includes your social media, but that also just includes the people that are in your life.
Thank you so much for breaking that for us. So now, For someone who feels overwhelmed and wants to improve their health but doesn't know where to begin, what are 3 simple habits they can start this week or even next month or whenever they feel like they want to start?
Remember, like I said, first and foremost, you are not too old to change your health. So my dad is 93 and he's working on his health right now because he didn't take care of himself. And now being 93, he's miserable. And he's like, okay, I got to change this. And he's 93 and he's changing it.
Wow.
So first and foremost, you're not too old to change. But the most important thing for you to know, and this is widely recognized in the entire health and wellness community, doctors agree on this, scientists agree on this. There are 5, sort of 6 building blocks of health. One is going to be sleep. You have to get good quality and quantity sleep. So one is sleep. And if you don't know how to sleep, there's a lot of podcasts on sleep, a lot of TED Talks on sleep. My favorite person on sleep, his name is Dr. Matthew Walker. So 1 is sleep. 2 is stress management. We cannot avoid stress, but we have to figure out ways to manage our stress, whether it's journaling, walking, grounding, gardening. You have to find a way to manage your stress. 3 is going to be hydration. You need to drink plenty of water a day. So if you're only drinking 1 glass of water today, I want you to drink 4 glasses of water tomorrow. And I want you to slowly work that up until you get to 1 liter, 2 liters per day. Number 4 is going to be movement. I don't care if you exercise. If you've never walked into a gym a single day in your life, I'm not expecting you to go to a CrossFit gym tomorrow or a powerlifting gym. But what I want you to do is start walking. Just walk. I want you to walk for 25 minutes after your largest meal every single day. So if it's for my European listeners, that's going to be like their midday meal is usually their largest meal. If we're talking to my American listeners, that's going to be their last meal of the day is usually their largest meal. So I want you to start walking. And then the last one is you got to watch what you eat. And it isn't about these macronutrients. Your body is not a simple calculator that says, if I eat 1,600 calories, I'm not going to gain weight. That is not how your body works. It is not a simple calculator. What is important is that you eat protein 3 or 4 times a day. You eat fruits and vegetables 3 and 4 times a day, and you eat healthy fats 3 or 4 times a day, something like avocado or hemp seeds or put butter on your toast or things like that. So it's really just those 5 building blocks of health. Now, there is a 6th one that a lot of us talk about, and that is personal relationships. Human beings were not designed to be isolated. If you look back at our ancestors, they all come from communes or communal environments or communities, especially if you look back into tribes. And so that's true of all of us. We were never designed to be isolated. So in order to be mentally and emotionally healthy, you need to have friends. You need to have people to talk to. You cannot isolate yourself. And we have seen this, like with the majority of people that have mental health issues. The reason why their mental health issues get worse is because they don't want to be a burden on friends and family. So they isolate themselves and then the mental health issues get worse. So we do see this a lot. So I really want people to get out there and enjoy life.
Thank you so much. I'm going to be making reference to the water. So how important is water? Because I really do not drink water that much. I just take maybe 1 cup of water and then I'm okay for the day. So how important is water? I want to know.
Our bodies are mostly water, right? So water is really the most important thing. And there's like this old doctor perception that's like, soup is water, so just drink soup. Coffee has water in it, so just drink coffee. That's not the case. We need to drink at least 4 glasses of water a day. But it does, in the long run, help with a lot of things. It helps flush out your system. It helps improve your digestive system. It helps improve your urinary tract system. It helps improve your ATP. The energy inside of your muscles are reliant on water. It helps your energy level. So if you're dehydrated, you'll feel more fatigue. So yes, water is probably, if I'm going to talk about those 5 building blocks, sleep and water are the 2. By the way, both are free. Quality food is expensive. Exercise can be expensive if you join a gym. Water and sleep are both free and they're very enjoyable. So I always tell people those are going to be your 2 best ones to hit every single day, no matter what.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing this tip with us today. So now, to wrap up this conversation, when people think back on your work years from now, what impact do you hope you've made on the way people think about health and wellness?
Yeah. So when I started this journey, I didn't start out wanting to do this. I owned gyms. My gyms were closed during COVID. I was coaching for medical doctors at that time. And I took that opportunity of being closed for 15 months to really pivot heavily into medical. I was about 50-50, and now I'm about 90% working in medical. And I did it because I was disenfranchised by modern regular medicine, and I was disenfranchised by gym culture. I think gym culture that like the person that's 300 pounds walks into a gym and people take videos of them and make fun of them. And that should never, ever, ever be allowed. And so I was really disenfranchised by that. And so people started calling me a bully, like not in the negative sense of a bully, but like where I'm relentless. I'm like a dog on a bone when I want people to become more healthy. And so I actually hope that's the legacy that I leave behind, is that no matter where you were in your health journey, Sharon was there for you. So whether it was at the beginning and you've never even walked into a gym a day in your life, and by working with me, I gave you the confidence to eventually walk into a gym or improve your health, or you were at the bottom of your wellness journey. You had a lot of diseases and pain and inflammation, and I helped you navigate that and saved your life. And I hope that that is my legacy, that no matter where you are in your journey, I was there for you.
Yeah, that's so powerful. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and helping us navigating a world that's often filled with conflicting health advice. So one of the biggest takeaways from today's conversation is that lasting health isn't built on quick fixes or viral trends. It's built on informed decisions, consistency, and habits that stand the test of time. And to everyone listening, remember that small intentional choices today can lead to a healthier tomorrow. And thank you for tuning in to Go Through Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who could benefit from this conversation. Thank you so much, and see you in my next episode. And Sharon, is there something else you want to share with my audience? Maybe how they could connect with you online?
Yeah, they can always connect with me on Instagram. It's at Sharon Polsky, but my website is sharonpolsky.com. And then please check out my book. It's available on Amazon, Kindle, Audible, Spotify, and it is Weight Loss Decoded, Unlocking the Truth About GLP Weight Loss Medications. And in my book is a bonus recipe book where there are vegan recipes, breakfast, lunch, dinner, smoothies, desserts. So even if you only get my book for the recipes, it will be well worth it. I promise.
Yeah. So guys, please do wait to go check our book on Amazon and on Spotify as well. Please do so and you will never regret it. So see you in my next episode. Bye.